This is the Brewers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, and the Brewers made it look so easy today, man. Rest assured, the game was over by any time anybody wanted to go to the Packer game today. Wow. You got this one in, and the Brewers had quick work of the Pirates. Hey, everybody, I'm Chuck Freimund, filling in for Brandon. He's going to be on Locked On Packers on their postcast a little bit later on, so he's getting ready for that. I'm sitting in here. I'll be with you a few times when the Packers are playing at the same time as the Brewers. I'll still be dropping my Locked On Brewers, but sitting in for Brandon here on his postcast. How about the win today? The Brewers jump out to a 4-run lead in the first inning. Base hits leading off the game. Turang, base hit. And the hits just kept on coming. The Pirates had no match for the Brewers in this series. Now, I thought once the Pirates were, took down the Dodgers earlier this week, I thought, okay, it's going to be a little difficult for the Brewers in this series, going to Pittsburgh and all that. But the Brewers finished the season 10-3 versus the Pirates this year. Went there and swept the 3-game series. Trailed Friday night, 2-1, ended up rallying and getting the win. Bowers with a 2-run single put them on top there. Bowers, how about that? A 2-run home run last night, and again delivers in the first inning tonight with a 2-run double. And kind of set the tone. Turang with the base hit and Collins with the base hit. Contreras with the walk. Bowers in the 4-hole delivers a 2-run double to right. And the hits just kept on coming. Brewers tacked on another run in the second inning, make it 5-0, and eventually they were out to a 9-0 lead in this game. There was a 9-1 lead in this game after 3, and there was no turning back. Man, I'm telling you what, anytime you want to doubt these guys, they just keep rolling. They are just so amazing. And you look at Vaughn today. Yeah, he went through that little bit of a slide going into last week, but 3 singles today and a double, 4 hits. Turang and Collins. I put out a tweet after Turang's first hit today. I said, I feel like Turang is hitting about 400. Like he should be chasing George Brett from 1980. The way, Brett was chasing 400. Turang, I feel, gets a hit every game. Like every time up the plate, he does something good. And the Brewers didn't homer in this game. Didn't need to, because they did Brewers baseball. Nickel and dime their way to this victory. And by the first inning, they had gotten to Chandler, the phenom for the Pirates. They were bragging him up, and boy, the Brewers had every answer for that guy. And you know what? The Brewers did what a good team should do: go into Pittsburgh and sweep the series. The Pirates, they did sweep the Dodgers earlier in the week, but the Dodgers, that's not the same Dodgers we've seen all these years. The Dodgers are sleepwalking, much of that team to the south of us has been doing lately. But you look at the starting lineup for the Brewers. Turang, Collins, Contreras batting third. Bowers was fourth. Durbin was fifth. Perkins was sixth. Jansen was seventh. And Ortiz was in there. And you look at the lineup, and right away you're looking, oh boy, what kind of lineup is Murphy putting out today? There was no Collins in the lineup. I'm sorry, there was no Yelich in the lineup. There was no Curio in the lineup. There was no Frelick in the lineup, and Bowers was batting fourth and playing right field. Well, Bowers had a heck of a series. He had 6 RBIs in this series. So I feel like all the time, I've said this on my podcast, we panic when the line comes out. But what happens? Brewers just, no matter who they put in there, they just continue to churn out victories, right? And I see the panic and all that, but Durbin was the only one today who did not get a base hit. I don't believe he got a hit toward the end of the game either. But the only one not to get a base hit. Everybody in that lineup contributed, and a team win. They move on to Texas tonight, and a team that's trying to get into the postseason. But that was just a complete clinic for the Brewers today. And we haven't even talked about the Miz. Man, the Miz with his longest start of the season. Now, Miz walked 2 hitters to start this game after the Brewers had a 4-0 lead. And, we've seen this before where the Miz is walking guys, and we're like, oh boy. Well, he proceeds to get the next 3 outs, including a double play ball to end the inning, and that's that. But look at this line on Miz. 7 innings, 3 hits, 108 pitches. Man, they really stretched him out. I feel like, if there's any doubt that Miz can't pitch in the postseason, which I might have had, like in recent starts, man, it was a race today. 8 Ks, walked the 2 hitters to start the game, didn't walk a hitter for the rest of the game. Just was smooth out there. Allowed 1 earned run, and the Brewers were able to, most importantly, not only getting the win, but get a rest to some of their guys out in the bullpen. Saturday, the Brewers kind of strung it together with some of their guys. They're not their primary bullpen guys. So today they went to their third string bullpen guys, Payamps and Yoho. It can't be pitching Ashby every day. I know he closed out the game yesterday, but that guy, and he's doing good work. You just can't be going to him every day. And you need other guys. You need the starters to go longer. But you had your third string bullpen, Payamps and Yoho, in a cakewalk of a win. How many times have we been able to say a cakewalk? Because usually there's some drama. Okay, maybe a close game. Maybe the Brewers got a rally late like Friday night. But this was over from the very beginning. This was like one of those games where you put your hands behind your head, kick the feet back, and you put the NFL on the other TV set, and you're okay with focusing on that because you know that Miz is taking care of business on the mound, and the Brewers are going to win this game. Wow. Just enjoyed this series every game. The Brewers bounce back. The Brewers have a little adversity like they do Thursday. They lost that game. They dropped 2 or 3 at home to the Phillies. Lost a tough one at home on Thursday. But this team does not stand adversity very long. Inevitably, they bounce back and win a few more games, and they wash the bad taste out of that loss. But a great win. Great win. Churiel, they did not test him today. He was out. Yelich, I'm getting a lot of messages wondering when Yelich is going to come back. I think he might be coming back in the Rangers series. I think they're holding out whether or not they're going to put him on the injured list. I think that's what it is. They're holding out hope that Yellie's going to be able to eventually crank it out. But we were told he was going to play in this series against the Pirates, but he did not play. Frelick was out, and Bowers played right field. So, the other night the Brewers rest 3 lefties, and they just keep, again, guys like Bowers, who you have to consider now for a postseason spot, right? Bowers kind of an afterthought on this team, but he's the left-handed stick off the bench. Okay. They put him in the right field today. He might be a guy you have to put on the postseason roster. And I know we keep thinking, where does that leave Rhys Hoskins? The Brewers have until like Tuesday to make a decision on him, but where does that leave him? I don't know. I say you keep on going with the guys you got going right now. Bowers, left-hander on the bench. I feel like Bowers, I said this a couple of podcasts ago, I feel like Bowers is due for some big hits at the postseason, put him on the roster. He had that 3-run homer last year in the postseason, and he's getting the job done here. This Pirates series, getting a chance to play, saying, hey, man, I want to be in this rotation. I want to be on the postseason roster. And deservedly so. In the cleanup spot today. A guy who the Brewers thought so little of back in November, they did not tender him to a contract. Finally, they did the bat, gave him a minor league contract, and here he is today, batting cleanup for the best team in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers. Yes, the best team in baseball. There's no doubt about it. But wonderful win. We'll go off some numbers. We'll get you some numbers after this. And I appreciate anybody who's watching us right now live. I know the Packer game's going on, but I'm going to be dropping my podcast, Locked On Brewers, a little bit later on tonight, very late tonight, after we absorb this Packers-Lions game. But hey, you know what? The Brewers are still top of mind out of a lot of people. Went out to breakfast this morning, ran into some people, and you would think everybody in the restaurant would have Packer gear on. Nope, they had Brewer gear on. There was guys having Brewer gears on. Couldn't wait to be watching this game today. Like us, right? People who are watching this live, right? Brewers are our priority. And the Brewers, man, as BA was talking about on the broadcast, they need a couple of things to happen this week, and they could clinch a playoff spot. We know that already. We know they're going to clinch a playoff spot. It's just a matter of when. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about this Texas series, go through some numbers of the game. That's next here on Locked On Brewers. Monarch Money, a great sponsor here of Locked On Brewers. Man, our family, we spend too much money going out to eat. You know how we found that out? Well, we kind of figured that out, but Monarch Money told us. Monarch Money, your all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Hey, you wonder where your money goes? You're spending too much money going out to the movies, maybe on music, whatever, concerts, you name it, sporting events. Who knows? You'll never spend. It'll never turn up on Locked On because all our content is free. So you won't have to worry about us being an expense. But Monarch Money is the place to turn to. Use the promo code Locked On MLB at monarchmoney.com. You're going to get 50% off your first year. So you're actually going to save money when you use the promo code Locked On MLB. I'm telling you, we use it in the Freimund household. It's a personal finance CEO really, because it tells you everywhere in files where you're spending money, where your paycheck's going, and what you need to cut back on. So try it out. monarchmoney.com. That's monarchmoney.com. Another great sponsor is Zippix. Zippix here on Locked On Brewers. You know, Zippix, some friends of mine tried Zippix the other day, and they heard me talking about it, and they're smokers, and they used it the other day. And Zippix toothpicks, whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has got you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings in the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking, right? You get rid of that habit. If you got that habit, Zippix can help you out here. It can be a helpful tool as you work on reducing your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors, 2 mg or 3 milligrams of nicotine options. So go to zippixtoothpicks.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Locked On, that is. Just the promo code Locked On. 10% off your first order. 21 or older to enter. Again, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code Locked On. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. That's Zippix Toothpicks. All right, Chuck Freimund here. Down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Filling in for Brandon. He's going to be doing a Locked On Packers postcast tonight. He'll be along for that here in a couple of hours, hopefully with a Packer win. And the Brewers got the Rangers coming up. We'll set the rotation coming up here shortly. For the Brewers today, Terang hitting 293s, 4th in the league in hitting. But I'm telling you, the guy is just incredible. The guy, he's batted in every spot in the lineup. I saw that little fact the other day. I think it was from Adam McCalvey. He has batted in every spot in the lineup. 2 for 3 today. Collins went 1 for 4. Contreras went 1 for 4. Bowers 2 for 4 and 3 runs scored. Vaughn, as I mentioned, the 4 hits, the 3 singles and the double. Derby was the only one who took it over today, went 0 for 5. Perkins 2 for 4. Jansen 1 for 4, and Ortiz 1 for 5. I know some of you are on Jansen. He's only hitting 201, had a double on the right field line today. But we're talking backup catcher here, okay? And I get it. Contreras is going to have to play some DH, and then Jansen will catch. I wanted them to keep Haas as well. And then when they got Jansen, they felt Jansen was a better bat than Haas. I know Jansen's better defensively than Haas, but we got to ride him out. Jansen, the backup. But, in the postseason, it's going to be Contreras catching every day. I don't see him DHing too often unless he's got some soreness or whatever, but Jansen catching every day. I gave him a Misiorowski's line. Piamps went an inning, gave up a run on 2 hits. Yoho, 1 inning and struck out 2 in a clean 9th inning. All right, the series that's coming up with Texas. Now, the Brewers have not named Tuesday's starter, but Quintana will start the first game, TBA in the second one, and then Freddie, as he works his way to 20 wins, he's sitting at 16. Freddie on Wednesday in the afternoon game, 2 night games and a day game. And the Rangers will be a tough out this weekend. Not that the Brewers can't handle them, because as we know, the Brewers can beat anybody, a bad team or good team. But the Rangers right now, 73-70. In the thick of the wild card spot, coming in, they had they were 2 games behind Seattle for the wild card spot. They're in a dogfight with Kansas City and Cleveland for that final wild card spot in the American League. So, unlike the team we just saw this past weekend, Rangers have something to play for. But that doesn't matter to the Milwaukee Brewers because they just keep winning games. And that's why they have the best record in baseball, because they go out in games like this weekend and sweep the Pirates. And yeah, the Pirates had a little bit of life on Friday. Saturday, the Brewers came back. And then Sunday, a no contest after the first half of the inning. Thought they were going to run rule the Pirates. All right, that's going to do it. All right, that's enough for this one. We'll be seeing you on Locked On Brewers a little bit later on tonight, my 30-minute podcast. Brandon will be back tomorrow with the Brewers and Rangers game. My name is Chuck Freimund. Thanks for watching Locked On Brewers postcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.